They say if you're worried about being a good parent, then you're already a good parent. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Itwa. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you're catching me for the very first time, please take a seat. You're welcome. And if you're already a part of the family, thank you so much. Like I always say, I do appreciate your support. Today, we are going to be discussing mom guilt. Now, when I got the idea for this topic, I was like, am I qualified to even talk about it, seeing that I've not been a mom for up to a year? But I mean, I would not be invalidating my feelings, and that is one thing I'm not going to be doing. Like, I'm in the area of, yeah, what I feel is valid, and I believe that a lot of people can relate with me, and that is why I'm sharing my thoughts on this topic. So I'm going to be sharing some of the times that I have felt mom guilt in this motherhood journey. The very first time was when I had my baby and I had to leave her for a couple of hours to go to the market. Guys, it was almost like I was committing a grave sin. My sister was around, my husband was around, I'd pumped and kept for her to, in case she gets hungry while I was away. But Lord God Almighty, I felt so bad. It was like, should I even be doing this? Like, for that trip, I was spent like not even up to 2 hours, I think, and she was just a couple of weeks old, probably a month or so. Yeah, this happened in December, yeah, and I had my baby in November, so a couple of weeks old, and I felt so bad all the time I was away. I just kept calling, sending messages. It was almost like, okay, so why did you leave if you are not even going to concentrate on what you are going outside to do? It was just so bad, and I know a lot of people can relate with this. Leaving your baby for the very first time after having the baby is always like, what do you do? Like, how can you cope? How can the baby cope? It was I felt a lot of guilt, just leaving her alone. And the funny thing is that the baby is in safe hands, she's in trusted hands, my sister, my husband. So, like, what is the problem? But just that attachment, that bond, that I don't know another word to use. Anyway, I just felt so wicked. I felt so wicked just leaving my baby. Another thing I want to point out here is even going for enjoyment or going for a party or something. I was just going to get normal, regular stuff. And it was just so much for me. Oh, thinking about it now, she's definitely going to be fine, okay? Wow. The second time I felt mom guilt was when my baby fell sick, and we had to spend some days in the hospital, and it was terrible. It was terrible. She was running a fever for like 2 days, and by the third day, we're giving her paracetamol. And on the third day, when she wasn't getting better, I was like, myself and my husband were like, this has gotten out of hand. Let us call the hospital, and we had to take her to emergency care, and they did some stuff like that. But we had to stay there for them to administer antibiotics for her. They did not sell it off the counter, so we had to be there in the hospital while they gave her the course of the drugs. And what I felt that period was, what did I do wrong? What did she eat? Where did I put her? Is the house clean enough? And things like that. Um, that funny now, looking back at it. But I remember talking to the doctor who attended to us, and we were like, what exactly caused this thing? And we're like, oh, it's very normal. Children of her age. You know, I felt a kind of relief to know that I did not do anything wrong, but there was also this guilt at the back of my mind that, could I have done something else, or could I have gotten to the hospital earlier? It was just a whole lot of emotions for me, and having to see her in the hospital. Personally, I even hate hospitals, so it was like, she's too small, she's too young to be in this kind of situation. So I felt so terrible. I felt so terrible, and I'm like, is this what mothers go through? And looking back at my own self, like, I spent a lot of time I spent a lot of time in the hospital growing up. So I'm like, is this what my mom also felt like? It was such a huge load for me, but she got better. Glory be to God. She got better, So glory be to God for that one. But I felt huge, 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 huge guilt for that period of time while we were there, and just thinking about what precautions I could have taken and things like that. Apparently, they say it's normal children that age, so I'm not going to speak on that anymore. The third time this happened fairly recently. Fairly recently was when I was eating something and you know you know it's like I'm reporting myself to you guys. Okay, so I was eating something and she the way children behave, and she wanted to actually have a taste of what I was eating, and so I put some in her mouth and she had an allergic reaction to it. We don't know the future. Like, you don't know what is going to happen in the next 5 seconds. You don't know what is going to happen in the next 3 seconds, and it was terrible. It's like I can't even begin to describe how I felt. The guilt was so much. It was like, why did I give her? I shouldn't have put this thing in her mouth. And the funny thing about allergy is that you don't even need to take a whole lot. Just something really small can just trigger it. But on the bright side, at least now we know she's allergic to that thing, but it wasn't funny at all. The whole day she was throwing up, we had to get drugs, we had to, call the hospital and things like that. But I thank God that she's okay. I thank God that she's okay now. And when I think about it, it's like, how long is this going to go on? Being a mother is such an amazing journey, and you can't really know if you are doing everything right. There are times when you make mistakes, and I'm learning to um I'm learning to just take it one day at a time, and I'm learning not to allow the guilt take such a strong hold on me, knowing that I'm also learning in this process. I've never done it before, and I just needed to come out here and just vent. Is there anybody else like me? Like, I don't know, probably a little bit of encouragement, because not even 1 year, not even 1 year, and I'm already feeling like this. But I know it's going to get better. I know that I'm going to learn to trust myself more and to be more gentle with myself. Okay, guys, so that will be all. If you can relate, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I need to go back and attend to her. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will catch you in my next. Okay, before I go, please don't forget to like. I don't know why sometimes I forget to say this thing, but anyway, please don't forget to like, to share to any first time mom that you know. Subscribe also, and let us keep the conversation going in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.
She's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, she's one of a kind.